Hey everybody, I just want to make a quick video on the Dakota Access Pipeline that has recently been um, running through Native American lands, specifically the Sioux Nation, and some of the developments. When the protesters who first went to the Dakota Access Pipeline construction site and started protesting them building it through Sioux lands and it being in danger of polluting Sioux water if it should ever break, I honestly didn't think that they would succeed. I didn't think that they could influence what the company and what the government had allowed the company to do in a way that would stop it from happening. That would stop the danger of pollution to their sacred lands, their sacred water. But something interesting happened, and it was that veterans showed up to the protest. um, really, there was a whole bunch of protesters, and they withheld against terrible things. They took all kinds of beatings, from concussion grenades, from water cannons, billy clubs, dogs, all kinds of things. But it didn't get the attention of the police that maybe they should stop until the veterans showed up. 2,000 veterans showed up at Standing Rock and joined the protest. And they joined because TYT, the Young Turks on YouTube, um, put together a group, specifically two hosts, well, one host from TYT and one Wolfpack member from TYT, who are both veterans. Got 2,000 veterans together and got a lot of funding and headed to Standing Rock. And the veterans showing up had an effect on the police that everyone else just didn't. And that is that the police feel like they're on the side of order. They're on the side of the government. They're on the side of justice, and they're on the side of keeping the peace. But in truth, a lot of the time, the police end up being on the side of brutality, on the side of forcing the rules in a way that they need not be forced. And once they saw that others who that they viewed as peacekeepers, who they viewed as those who uphold the law, those who protect our country, like they view themselves as doing, and they do a lot of the time, they reconsidered their position. I imagine a lot of the police force was former veterans. At least some of them were probably veterans. But really, they held the veterans to a higher degree of value than just other people, random citizens that they probably viewed as miscreants. And that part of it really interests me. They viewed the veterans as having a value to their opinion, to their protest, that the rest of us simply just didn't deserve. Um, and that says more about the police that were there than police in general, I think. But I'm just glad that what happened was the police retreated. They moved back their barricade, and President Obama recently said that he's not going to give the permit, and the Army Corps of Engineers is going to do an environmental check, like they should do in every case like this. But the pressure from the protests uh, finally made them take notice, and made the even industrialized media take notice. Even the establishment media take notice, and now more people are talking about it. Most corporate media sources didn't want to talk about it because they're part of the establishment. But now it's basically unavoidable because Obama even weighed in on it in a big way and said that I'm not going to give you the permit. We need to do an environmental check beforehand. But my main point that took a while to get to, in all fairness to everybody else, is that no matter what technological or commercial standard we reach as human beings in our society, we should always remember that there are other cultures that we just can't run over anytime we want to make a new addition to what we can do to our commercial capabilities, to our financial capabilities. We can't just roll over either tribes or different cultures, different religions, just because it's more convenient and it's more financially profitable than it would be to go around these areas. Um, we can't destroy what humanity was in favor of another penny. And it always comes down to the fucking pennies. They're the whole entire milk industry, to save a few more cents per gallon of milk, just slaughtered hundreds of thousands of cows. Uh, that's an example. And really, the culture of compassion that humanity holds is what that rolled over. And there's a culture of compassion in every civilization, in every culture. There's an element of compassion, and I feel like we forget that when there's an extra buck to be made. And we shouldn't, because who we are as humans is more than what we have. Who we are is within us. What we have, what we imagine we can have, is fleeting. It's ethereal. It's always beyond reach, and it's always higher up, or you can say lower down. But we can't forget all of our pieces. Every single culture plays a role. Every single culture is a piece of humanity that makes up a vital organ that is the soul of man. Every single culture needs to be respected when disputes of land and commerce come into play. Water and commerce. Religion and commerce. If it's a holy ground in the sense of spirituality and not just the land itself, it should be taken into account when commerce is brought into the mix. But that's basically all I got to say. It's a hell of a thing the way we're going. In the United States, capitalism and commerce seem to be at the top of the agenda. And respecting people and cultures and religions seems to be fairly low. And I'm not saying that anyone should force their religion onto other people. It's that if you encroach onto somebody's particular grounds or their particular ideas for them, if they're not trying to force it onto others, then consideration needs to be had. And that's what we have to think about more. Existence is not about the money. It's not about the gold that's in the universe. It's about what is within us and what we've always had all along. And that's all I got to say. Y'all have a great one.